she has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? For us, just in the women's side of things, and the height that she had, the expectations she had.
Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark-Kent. Superwoman, you see what I did there? She was on a tear, and last night was no different. Wings, fever. Caitlin Clark set to go as she broke the single-season assist record.
She's been playing like a top 5 player in the league. She's been regularly dishing out double-digit assists in that time frame. Teams can no longer blitz her and trap her.
Did you hear about the earthquake in Europe? No, not a real one. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark shaking up the entire European basketball scene. Just an hour ago, she made her debut, and fans are still picking their jaws up off the floor. You won't believe the before and after. Before Clark, crickets in the stands. After Clark, it's like every game is Game 7 of the finals. We're breaking down every insane play, every shocked reaction, and why this might be the craziest debut in basketball history. Ready to see what all the fuss is about? Now picture this. It's game day in Barcelona, but something's different. Usually the arena's quiet, half empty at best. A few diehard fans scattered here and there, munching on popcorn, scrolling through their phones.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever had over 1.8 million viewers. This is now on an NFL Sunday. They had over 1.8 million viewers, and the rest of the games had around 400,000 viewers. These people are coming in waves to watch one player who has sold out every single arena that she has played in this season. Well, I have not seen the viewership reports for the games last night yet, but I'm sure that it is probably double of what the Indiana Fever game got on Sunday.
That's been the scene for years. But today, it's like someone flipped a switch. Suddenly crowds are pouring in like never before. I'm talking lines around the block, people fighting for tickets like it's a Taylor Swift concert. Security guards are looking at each other like, what's going on? And fans who've never been to a game before are elbowing their way to the front, desperate to get in. You want mind-blowing numbers? Get this. Barcelona Basket Femení season ticket sales doubled. And that's just the beginning. Social media's blowing up with fans from France, Turkey, you name it, all buzzing about what's about to go down. It's not just Barcelona, the whole continent's tuning in. As game time gets closer, the energy's off the charts. You can feel it in the air like static electricity. Fans are packed in tight, craning their necks to catch a glimpse of the court. People who showed up thinking they'd waltz right in are still outside, begging for any way to get in. It's madness. And you know what the craziest part is? All this, the crowds, the buzz, the whole circus, it's all because of one player, Caitlin Clark. That's right, the same Caitlin Clark who lit up college basketball in the States. Now she's bringing that magic to Europe, and fans are losing their minds before she's even touched the ball. Local businesses are loving it too. Bars and restaurants around the arena are packed, with fans grabbing pre-game drinks and talking strategy like they're the coaches. It's like the whole city's come alive for basketball. The pre-game hype is off the charts, but now it's time for the main event.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
Caitlin Clark is seconds away from her first European appearance. Think she's feeling confident? Think again. Even superstars get the jitters, and Clark's about to face the toughest challenge of her career. As Clark steps onto the court, the roar of the crowd is deafening. Fans are on their feet, phones out, capturing every second. The announcer's voice booms through the speakers, introducing her, and you can feel the electricity in the air. It's like the whole arena is holding its breath, waiting to see what she'll do. But can she live up to all this hype? That's the million-dollar question. The game tips off, and Clark's first few possessions are, well, let's just say they're not highlight reel material. She's a bit hesitant, maybe feeling the pressure. Her first shot clanks off the rim, and you can hear the collective gasp from the crowd. Then something clicks. Clark starts to find her rhythm. She threads a no-look pass through 3 defenders, and the crowd goes wild. It's like they've never seen anything like it before. And honestly, they probably haven't. But it's not all smooth sailing. The European style of play is more physical, and Clark's getting bumped and pushed around. She turns the ball over a few times looking frustrated. The fans are on an emotional roller coaster, cheering 1 minute and groaning the next. Then comes the moment everyone's been waiting for. Clark gets the ball at the top of the key, her defender giving her just a bit too much space. She pulls up for a deep three, and the whole arena seems to freeze. The ball arcs through the air, and boom, nothing but net. The place explodes. Fans are jumping, screaming, hugging complete strangers. It's pandemonium. From that point on, it's the Caitlin Clark show. She's dropping dimes, hitting shots from impossible angles, and playing with a swagger that says, yes, I belong here. The European fans are losing their minds. Every play is met with oohs and ahs, like they're watching a magician perform tricks they can't believe. By the final buzzer, Clark's stat line is impressive. 20 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. But it's not just about the numbers. She's broken the record for most points scored by a debut player in the league. More importantly, she's won over the crowd. The standing ovation as she leaves the court is something you'd expect for a hometown hero, not an American rookie. Clark's standing ovation might be over, but the aftershocks are still rumbling through Europe. Remember when women's basketball was an afterthought across the Atlantic? Those days are history. The Clark effect is real, and it's turning the sports world upside down. Let's talk about what European women's basketball looked like before Clark showed up. Empty arenas, barely any media coverage, and fans who couldn't name a single player if their life depended on it. Now, it's like someone hit the turbo button on the whole league. Since Clark's debut, attendance across the league has shot up by 30%. That's not just in Barcelona. We're talking packed houses in Paris, Berlin, you name it. TV ratings through the roof. The league's championship game last year got less viewers than your average cooking show. This year, they're projecting numbers that'll make some men's leagues jealous. But here's where it gets spicy. Not everyone's thrilled about this American invasion. Some coaches are grumbling about how Clark's changing the game. They're saying her style is too flashy, too American. European basketball's always been about team play, right? Well, Clark's highlight reel moves are making some old school folks nervous. And the players, it's a mixed bag. Some are loving the new energy Clark's bringing. They're stepping up their game, trying to match her intensity. But others, they're feeling the heat. Imagine being the star of your team for years. Then suddenly this American rookie shows up and steals the spotlight. That's gotta sting. And you know what's wild? Clark's impact that goes way beyond just basketball. We're seeing a surge in young girls signing up for youth leagues across Europe. Sporting goods stores can't keep women's basketball shoes in stock. It's like Clark flipped a switch and suddenly women's basketball is cool. But the craziest part? The money. European women's basketball has always been the poor cousin to the men's game. Not anymore. Sponsorship deals are rolling in, TV contracts are being renegotiated, and player salaries are about to get a serious boost. We're talking about a whole new economic landscape for women's sports in Europe. As European women's basketball rides the money train, there's panic in the WNBA boardrooms. Clark's overseas success is great for the sport, but it's left the American League scrambling. How bad is it? Let's just say some are calling it the WNBA's worst nightmare. The WNBA had big dreams for Caitlin Clark. They saw her as the next face of the league, the superstar who'd pack arenas and boost TV ratings. But now, she's doing all that, just not for them. It's like watching your crush fall for someone else at prom. Ouch! Let's break down the numbers, and they're not pretty for the WNBA. While Clark's European debut had fans fighting for tickets, the WNBA's struggling to fill seats. The Indiana Fever's game against the Connecticut Sun, only 929,000 viewers tuned in. That's nearly half of what they got the week before. Talk about a ratings nosedive, but hold up, it's not all doom and gloom. The Fever's home opener against the Sun did sell out, with 8,910 fans packing the house. That's their first sold-out home opener since 2003, so there's still hope, right? Well, maybe, but when you compare it to the Clark Mania sweeping Europe, it feels like small potatoes. WNBA players and officials are feeling the heat. One league official dropped this bomb. Losing Caitlin Clark serves as a crucial reminder for the WNBA to retain its star players and keep them from pursuing opportunities abroad. Translation? They're freaking out, and it's not just about Clark. WNBA star Gabby Williams spilled some tea about the league's financial struggle. She said no player earns the maximum salary of $700,000 from their WNBA salary alone. That's got a lot of players eyeing those European paychecks. So, what's the WNBA's game plan? They're talking about changing rules, upping salaries, anything to keep their stars from jumping ship. It's like they've suddenly realized they're in a global competition for talent, and they're playing catch up. But here's the million-dollar question. Is it too little? Too late? The WNBA's scrambling to reinvent itself, but Clark's already changed the game. They're not just competing with other American sports leagues anymore. They're up against a whole continent that's fallen in love with women's basketball. So there you have it, folks. Caitlin Clark just flipped European women's basketball on its head overnight. From packed arenas to skyrocketing TV ratings, she's changed the game in ways we never saw coming, and this is just the beginning. Can you imagine what women's basketball might look like in 5 years with Clark leading the charge? We could be talking about a whole new level of global competition with the WNBA and European leagues battling for the best talent. Here's a mind-blowing stat to wrap things up. Clark's debut game had more viewers than the last 3 EuroLeague women's finals combined. That's the Clark effect in action. She's not just playing basketball, she's rewriting the whole playbook.